Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, the 31st day of December 2024, the last day of 2024 on the Gregorian calendar. I hope you're safe and healthy today. I hope your family is safe and healthy and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are doing their best to save lives. Those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean and disease-free, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that try to help, rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People helping others who are victims of prostitution and child prostitution, pornography, child pornography, human trafficking, sex slavery, double curses on the perpetrators, the profiteers, and all those perverts that drive demand for these evil industries. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. More than 600,000 men, women, children, families, veterans, and senior citizens, and the numbers are growing, of homeless in the streets of the United States and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game last night in Washington, D.C. The second time in 3 days that Knicks played the Wizards in Washington. I was, of course, at the game on Saturday night. What a game it was, where Jalen Brunson dropped 55 and had 9 dimes. And Gatto had 30 and double-digit rebounds, and the Knicks win in overtime. That was a game on tired legs. And the Knicks found a way to win. What I'm learning and watching the Knicks now is that because Brunson is growing in terms of his understanding, knowledge of the game, and management. See, this is the thing. When you're an NBA player, first you have the ability to play in the NBA. Okay? Now, there's probably about 400 NBA players. Of the tens of thousands of basketball players on planet Earth, there's only 400 that play approximately in the NBA. You have to be, so therefore, just by the numbers, let's say there's 100,000 athletes that play basketball on planet Earth. And you can see them in Division I, Division II, you could see them in G League, you could see them in Europe, in the different leagues of Europe, the Spanish league, the German league, the English league, the Russian league, the Argentinian league, the Brazilian league, the Puerto Rican league, the Mexican league. There's leagues, of course, and then of course you got China. So you probably have a good 100,000 men that could play basketball at a very good level. All of those I just named, Division I, Spaniards, British, all of the European leagues, and you got Israel, you got lots of players. And of all of those players, only 400 can play in the NBA. So it's very rare. So when you are able to have the ability to actually play in the NBA, you're a very good player. Then the two most difficult positions to learn in the highest level league in the world is the center position and the point guard position. Okay, so for different reasons, but they both have to do a lot of thinking as well as have ability to actually play the game. So Jalen Brunson has always been a thinking man's basketball player from high school. Okay, the footwork, the hard work he puts into his game in terms of how he plays the game without being extremely athletic is a marvel, right? And he's got elite footwork, and so that has helped him. So he wins championships in high school. He comes to Villanova, undersized, under athletic, and he wins championships at Villanova. Then he comes to the league. Now, the league, there's been other guys in terms of high school champions that became college champions that are undersized, that are not athletic, but they did not make it big time. Not everybody does, but Brunson did. So now Brunson has shown himself to be an elite NBA player, one of the elite players in an elite league. So at this stage now, we're dealing with him in terms of the highest level of ability. And now He's now learned, first he had to learn when he came to the Knicks to lead his own team on the NBA level. He did it in high school. He did it in college. He did not have to do it in Dallas, but he did it at the Knicks. He had to learn how to do that. It takes time. He learned it, and now he's got it. Now, as the captain and leader in his prime, what he's doing this year is he's learning to read the game and make adjustments on the fly during the course of a game. This is very elite. This is very high level stuff we're talking about. It's more than just like being able to have a blur of a crossover like an Allen Iverson, or to have Jordan-like athletic ability like Anthony Edwards. You have to be able to have a thinking man's IQ and accomplish what you want to on the floor. And now he's doing that. And this last two games against Washington showed that. In the first game against Washington, the Knicks as a team had tired legs. And you see that in two areas. You see that defensively where they're a step slow or half a step slow as it were. And then you see the opponents bombing away at three. And you're wondering why they're getting all these 3-point shots. In the league, that half a step means everything. Okay, because guys are too good. Again, you're talking about the 400 best players in the world. And so if you give them a half a second to get their shot off, they're going to kill you. And so if you're a little slow because your legs are tired, and happens to every team, you're going to get beat like that. But seeing that, what Brunson did is hit the paint. He hit the paint hard so that they outscored Washington in the paint by something like 20 points in that game, maybe more. But that was the key to the game. They were turning the ball over. They weren't shooting it well from three. But at crunch time, in the fourth quarter and in the overtime, the Knicks defense stiffened, sign of championship teams, okay, and got the stops they needed. And then Brunson hitting, getting 2 feet in the paint and creating all kinds of havoc. And then, of course, El Gato Grande being who he is in terms of unguardable one-on-one at the 5 spot. That was got the victory. Last night was a little different. Last night, the Wizards made an adjustment, and so points in the paint was close. The Wizards actually led in points in the paint, 50-48. The Wizards, now, the Wizards also, let me see. They also, let's see what they were. No, they weren't, but 3-point percentage, they weren't shooting as good 3-pointers, but they got to the line more. They weren't getting to the line because they were shooting so many threes on Saturday night. They weren't getting to the line. The Knicks did get to the line. Well, they shot 22 foul shots last night. They were getting to the line, and they hit 73% of their foul shots. So they were doing good, but the Knicks found another way to win. So they came back on the rebounding. The Knicks out-rebounded them 54-46 on the offensive end, 15-12. And that was due, of course, the whole team was involved with it, but Josh Hart has 15 boards. Gato has 13. And between the two of them, they get 9 offensive rebounds. That was huge. 15 offensive rebounds for the game. Also, last night, the Knicks started turning Washington over. They had 13 turnovers, and that's not bad. 13 turnovers in the NBA that's a good number. You know, when you start getting above 15, 18, 20, that's when you're in trouble. But 13 is not bad, but the Knicks only had 8. So they controlled the basketball. They out-rebounded the Wizards. And they hit more. They hit better from 3, but it wasn't great. They shot 34% from 3. It wasn't great, but they got the points they needed, okay? And then, of course, again, the defense. Now, you look at and Deuce McBride could not score yesterday. He's been off for the last 3 games. I know his shot. It's like what we were saying with Bridges. Bridges is a 40% career 3-point shooter. In the beginning of the season, he was shooting 20-something%. And so that just meant he was going to go over on a tear and get back to the average. The same is going to happen with Deuce. But the defense between Precious and Deuce. Last night, like Tom Thibodeau went with 7. Now, Landry Shamet got, if you look at the box score, it'll show he got 11 minutes. But 2 of those minutes was garbage time, which was good for Shamet because he hit 2 threes in the garbage time. He needs to get his rhythm back, game speed rhythm, and he's going to get it. But so he played basically 9 minutes. So, but the interesting thing is Shamet played 9 minutes and Payne only played 7. And that's what I was telling you before. I think as good as Payne is, I think Shaman's going to be getting most of them minutes as that eighth guy until Mitch Rob comes back. So, but what's solidified is Deuce and Precious as far as in the rotation. That's the rotation going into the playoffs. You're going to see Deuce and Precious, unless they get hurt, God forbid. But they're going to be in the rotation. So Deuce had three. This is Deuce's stats now. He scored 8 points. He was 3 of 8 from the field. So he didn't shoot well. 1 of 3 from 3. 1 of 2 from the line. He had 2 rebounds. But he had 6 assists. And if you was watching him, people that always talk about he wasn't a playmaker, I don't know what you're seeing. He was setting people up excellently last night. And he had 6 assists. And he had a couple of hockey assists that he directed. Like he would direct the guy to go somewhere, throw the ball to a second person that would get the ball to the guy he directed, and it'd be a layup. He did that a lot. But he had 6 assists and 3 steals. And plus 6. And Precious now. Precious played 19 minutes. He only had 5 points, 4 boards. But it was the defense. And not only that, did you see him hit the 3-point shot? We've been talking about what he needed to work on over the summer, what I knew he was going to work on. It was a 3-pointer from the corner. He's going to start nailing those on a regular basis. He's getting more confident with that. He's already got interior scoring ability. And he started even trying to handle the ball on breaks a little bit. As he gets more comfortable in those roles, we have something there. Okay. The Knicks, somebody's talking about how much they can sign him for. They got to re-sign him. They got to re-sign him. And I don't know what they're going to do or how much he's going to take or whatever. They got to re-sign him. So we'll see what happens. Unless somebody can outbid them, which is possible. What happened with Hartenstein. But this kid's going to be really good. You haven't seen the best of Precious Achiuwa. And that's another thing. There's some guys that you see and you're seeing what you see is what you get. They're not going to really improve any more drastically than what you see. Okay. Like the kid Duarte that came out of Oregon comes into the league. He's like 23, 24. And that's about what you're going to get from him. That's the highest level you're going to get in his first season, in his second season. He's not going to get any better than that. It's good enough to play in the league, which means he's really good, but you're not going to see any more upside. With Precious, he can play on a high level in the league right now. And he's got a lot of upside. You're going to see him develop a corner J. You're going to see him handle the ball more. And he's already got the defense and he's already got the rebounding. So it's just a matter of time. And that's why I know, and I knew over the summer I've been saying we got to get Precious back. That's why. So I don't know how they're going to do it, but the Dons got to figure out a way to re-sign this kid and get him back in here. But that's the rotation. And that just gives you an example. So overall, the Knicks had 9 steals yesterday. 2 for Hart, 2 for Bridges, 1 for Towns, Brunson. And did you see Towns steal? It was a legit, theft and fast break and dunk. That was something else. So, and they also had 34 assists, which tells you what? The ball was moving. So they had 34 assists. They had 9 steals. They only had 8 turnovers. And they were playing defense. And so Brunson saw the game. He started spraying. Brunson took 17 shots yesterday, as opposed to what 30 he took Saturday night. Again, that's what was necessary. He read the game. Towns took 19 shots. The ball was spread. Bridges 15 shots. OG 14 shots. Josh 15 shots. It was very well spread. He read the game. And he knew what to do. We got something with Brunson now. We kind of knew it, like after he got signed and started playing, we knew we had something. But he's now learning to read this game and go accordingly. And that's why it bothers me when people's like, well, Thibs should be coaching him. Y'all don't know what the hell. This ain't high school. This is the league. And the reason Thibs wanted Brunson is because he got himself on the floor. Okay, and between Rick and Thibs, if Brunson needs something, they got him, but he don't need nothing. He knows what he's doing. That's the whole beauty of having a coach on the floor. Okay, and so it's beautiful. It's beautiful to watch. And so yesterday, like I said, he made the adjustments. They ended up with 54 rebounds. They were really, and Josh Hart was amazing. Josh Hart and Cat were amazing yesterday. Now, I agree with some of you, and I think I said it, that I would start Precious. But at this point, I don't want to start Precious because I want the size that Precious brings. and the ability of defense and rebounding on the second unit. When Deuce comes out with him. And then if you saw yesterday, you saw Thibs play Shamet, Deuce, and Payne. And he had Gato and Precious out there. It was effective, very effective, that lineup. So when you have Mitchell Robinson back, which you're going to get him back, I don't care what anybody's saying. All of the rumors, y'all got to understand what clickbait is, man. People like to create narratives that don't exist or shouldn't exist just to create clicks. And that's cool if they want to do that. I don't believe in that because I'm just a Knicks fan that wants to see them win. I don't want to create cliques. I don't want to create drama. I just want to see the Knicks win. And I'm sitting here telling you based on what I've seen, what my experience is, and what I've seen Thibs and my experience watching him, what they're going to do, which is why I call stuff like they should reach out to Minnesota about Cat, or they should trade for OG, or they should trade for Mikal Bridges. That kind of stuff a year before it happens because of watching them and seeing logically how a good organization operates. And the Knicks are now a good organization. So it's very easy to see what they're going to do. So now Mitchell Robinson comes back. He becomes the size off the bench. And you have Robinson, Deuce, and Payne. And I was just watching a replay of the Sixers series last year. You should, if you're going, you should watch that. Next time some idiot comes up with, we might trade Robinson, look at that. Robinson wasn't even 100%, and he was manhandling Joel Embiid. Now, say what you want about Embiid, but the cat is 7 feet, 260 pounds. Could shoot threes, could take you off the dribble. And he had a problem when he was trying to go against Mitchell Robinson. He had a problem, okay? And you want that on your team. So the foot surgery that Robinson had, the Knicks want to make sure he's healthy. They want to make sure he's in shape, and he's going to be. And with him, it's not going to be about getting his timing on his shot. We know he can't shoot, but we don't need him to shoot. He's out there to man the paint, and there ain't but maybe 2 or 3 other guys that could do it like him. He's the one getting the offensive boards. You think we just out-rebounded Washington last night? Wait till you get Mitch Rob back. See, the thing about Josh Hart, he got 15 boards last night. If you recall, when he first came to the Knicks, he was coming off the bench, and he had nights where he was getting 12, 13, 15 boards off the bench. Okay? So that's not going to change. Thibs is still going to play him a lot of minutes. He's still going to be a crunch time guy, as he should be. But if you start Precious, and you have him next to Gato, and then you bring Deuce with Mitchell Robinson, this is going to be on. That's all I'm saying to you. And I'm excited about the prospect. So for now, though, the Knicks have won 8 straight. You know, it's very nice to look at the Knicks schedule, right? Look at the Knicks schedule, and you see all these W's. It reminds me of a report card with all A's. You see all these W's, man, straight in a row. 8 straight. And we ain't even hit gears yet. You know, we're an 8-cylinder engine running on 6 right now. When they get to running on all cylinders. So now, we just need to get Mitch Rob back healthy. Shaman is coming along, just as we thought. And now they got Utah tomorrow. Utah beat us the last time, I think, if you recall. I think Utah beat the Knicks. And it was in Utah. And I know it was a game where, you know, the Knicks had tired legs. But look, here, you got to play who's on your schedule, and you got to play them when you play them. They lost big, 121-106 in Utah. Anunoby had 27 talents, had 16 boards. Brunson had 8 assists. Tired legs. You know, that was part of that Utah game was part of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 game road trip that the Knicks were on, playing Phoenix, Utah, Denver, Dallas, and Charlotte. Okay, if you recall. And they in that Utah loss, they went 3-2 in that 5-game. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, they went 3-2 in that 5-game road trip, and so they had some tired legs. It's okay. Everybody has to go through that. But now we got to play Utah and MSG on fresh legs, with Precious back, with Payne, with Deuce, and Shaman, and Brunson now learning to read the game. Let's see what happens tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it. If the Knicks are able to win, 9 straight. We don't count our chickens before they hatch, though. So they got 8th Street now. But you know what we can count? You know what we can count right now, Knicks Nation? The Knicks are, as we speak, 1/2 game below the Boston Celtics for the 2nd seed. 1/2 game below the Boston Celtics for the 2nd seed in the East, the New York Knicks. Here we come. You all enjoy. Now listen here, before I go, let me just tell y'all something real quick. New Year's Eve, people always get murdered. I'm going to be straight with y'all. Be careful. Be careful where you are. Be aware of your surroundings. Be wise. People, you with sisters out there, there's always a predator on New Year's Eve waiting to catch you drunk somewhere. Be careful. You brothers, be careful of your surroundings, who you're with, what's going on, and always watch for an escape route. Be safe. Enjoy your New Year's Eve. Shalom.